Listen, this may just be the most incredible electric bike ever made. It's the Velotric Nomad 2. We had the Nomad 1, and that was an awesome bike, and they made this even better. For so many reasons, so many extras they give with this bike for an affordable price that I'll tell you about in a few seconds. It will blow your mind. And it is also now the fastest electric bike I have ever ridden. I've got this up to 32 miles an hour. 32 miles an hour on a bike. It's fast, believe me. The thing cooks. It is amazing. Are you looking for the ultimate electric bicycle for your upcoming adventures? Introducing the Velotric Nomad 2, the any-terrain fat tire e-bike built to conquer any challenge. Nomad 2 is the latest e-bike from our favorite American electric bicycle manufacturer, Velotric. Nomad 2 is built like a tank. Experience the thrill of off-road exploration, the ease of long-distance city cruising, and the confidence of owning a truly reliable electric bicycle. This beast is powered by a 750-watt motor with 90 Newton meters of torque, and it has an impressive 505 pounds payload capacity. The frame itself is 25% stiffer than the ISO standard, but it's also comfortable with an adjustable 100mm travel in the RST fork and an included suspension seat post. Nomad 2 is one of the few electric bikes that is double UL certified for safety and reliability. UL certified means a product has been tested and evaluated by Underwriters Laboratories to ensure it meets certain safety and performance standards. UL has been around for over a century and is highly respected in various industries. This mark serves as a symbol of safety and quality, assuring consumers like us that the product has been independently verified. Velotric's Nomad 2 is practically waterproof. The battery is IPX7 certified, a water resistance rating that indicates the device can be submerged in water, fully submerged, up to 1 meter for 30 minutes without sustaining permanent damage. And the rest of Nomad 2 is IPX6 rated to handle sideways rain, mild power washing, and the most harsh off-road adventures you can find. If that wasn't enough to convince you why we would choose buying a Velotric over any other brand, here are the top 10 reasons why the Nomad 2 is the perfect choice for your next electrifying ride. Unbeatable reliability. Nomad 2 has one of the strongest frames in the industry with 505 pounds total payload, including 66 pounds supported by the rear rack. Most bikes in this class can only handle 400 pounds max. Off-road dominance. Nomad 2 has a 750-watt motor with 1,300 watts peak and 90 Newton meters of torque. Use the controller or the Velotric app to set your top speed up to 28 miles per hour. Leading competitors only reach 80 Newton meters of torque, so they just can't scale those steep hills or handle loose dirt. Nomad 2 can actually tow up to 1,000 pounds. The upgraded hydraulic brakes with a 180 centimeter disc provide superior stopping power. Super durable, fat, 26 by 4 inch Kenda anti-puncture tires provide a smooth and stable ride on any terrain. These tires laugh at bumps. The upright riding position with cruiser handlebars and an adjustable stem won't stress your back. Plus, the extra wide saddle and suspension seat post are both included. The optional step-through design with a 16-inch low step-over point is easy for mounting. Or there's a high step option for you Pilates pros. They're both available. And Nomad 2 is available in 2 sizes. Regular from those from about 5'2" up to about 5'11", and large for our friends up to about 6'5". The gorgeous 3.5-inch full-color display easily connects to the Velotric app and Apple FindMy. Control your top speed, adjust your light settings, or use Velotric's own SensorSwap tech for seamless transition between torque mode for smooth and responsive pedal feel with precise power output control, or cadence mode with its light pedal sensation for effortless long-distance cruising and relaxed rides. No other bike has swappable sensors. And there's a mega long-range battery. The 705 watt-hour battery can provide up to 65 miles on a single charge, well, depending on weight, terrain, and incline when using pedal assist. You could literally ride this Nomad 2 across the entire state of New Jersey on a single charge with a little pedaling on the back end. Nomad 2 is IPX6 water resistant and the battery's IPX7, You could toss it in the bathtub for a few minutes with no worries. I don't know why you do that, but you could. Feel free to ride Nomad 2 in a torrential downpour or power wash it lightly with zero worries. You're lucky if you can even get IPX4 with other bikes in this category. And the price is right. You would think an electric bike with all these features would cost $4,000, $5,000, even $6,000. But nope, Nomad 2 is just over $2,000 with free shipping and a 2-year warranty. As a famous MC once said, you can't touch this. Nomad 2 is available March 1st at velotricbike.com and at local bike shops across the USA. Available in slate gray, midnight blue, sage green, olive green, or cranberry red. Visit velotricbike.com or your nearest offline shop to pre-order your Nomad 2 today. Your future of e-biking awaits. Velotric's Nomad 2 is 95% assembled in the box. Slap on the front wheel, attach the handlebars, hook up some cables, charge the battery, and you're riding in less than an hour. It's so easy. Here's how it went for us. So let's take a look at the assembly process. Super easy. Everything comes in this box and it's about 95% assembled. They do a great job assembling these things. And look at all these, it's UL certified. There's no other bike I've ever seen that is UL certified. That blew my mind. It is safe. It is well made. All the tools you need are labeled here in plain English. I mean, Velotric really took the time to write a great manual, to explain things in a way that the average American like me can understand. And that's a big deal to me that they took the time and effort and spent the money to do that. Here's everything you're going to need in this handy little box in here. Now, instead of deadlifting this bike out of the box, which I used to do, and I can't do that anymore. I'm decided to be smart and use physics and gravity to do this instead. Lay the box on the side. If you want, pull these staples out, these box staples, which come in this box so you don't scratch your stuff up. Real simple to pull these out. And then you're just gonna slide the bike out. Look at that, use gravity, you know what I mean? So much easier than deadlifting it, especially if you have back issues, which a lot of us do. You know, you could just slide this guy out and then angle it up. So much easier than deadlifting this bike out of the box. I mean, it's heavy. There's a lot of components in here and a 750 watt motor, which we'll show you more about later. Here's everything it is. Again, it's 95% assembled. And look at the packaging job they've done here. Everything important is wrapped. Not one piece of this paint was scratched. I've got so many other bikes that just have these gashes in them because they weren't packaged with thought, with care. And Velotric doesn't make that mistake. They just really done a great job. I just can't say enough good things about it. Here's your 2 keys that are chained on the handlebars, a little bit of information about your display and your controller. And again, written in plain English, real easy to understand with these handy little things you just pop aside somewhere. Like, how do I do that? You can always refer back to this cheat sheet. And here's your manual and tools in this box. And again, it's a small manual, but again, detailed instructions written in great, plain, colloquial English, and I so appreciate that. A bunch of stickers in case you need that for your municipality to tell the authorities what class it is, and you can set this in the controller too, and I'll tell you how to do that as well. But again, I've got it set as it's a class 3. It's got pedal and throttle, and I got this thing cooking. We live in Florida, so we really don't have rules here yet. They could come down here, who knows, but right now you can ride this thing as fast as you want and basically wherever you want it. Here's the UL sticker. You can't fake this. No other bike, again, I've seen has this, a double UL certification. Now, while you're thinking about it, while you're putting this thing together, great time to take some pictures of the serial numbers. You're going to find those in several places here. You're going to find one underneath the bike. You're going to find it stamped into the frame. Just in case, I know a lot of people who have had bikes stolen, and the more information you can give the authorities, the more chance you have of getting it back. Even the serial number of the motor, too. Copy that down, too, because it's unlikely that they're going to change that. There is a quick release, but don't worry, it is not a quick release for the front wheel. It does have a conventional axle with nuts and bolts, so that is cool. It's a legit axle. I know a lot of people are afraid of quick releases on the front, but Velotric has not made that mistake. This is just for shipping only. So you just take that out, and it's just holding it on that front bracket, which keeps the bike upright, too. This is pretty thoughtful as well, because when you lift it up, you're trying to balance it on something before you put the front wheel on. There's also a spacer here in the front caliper. Just pull that out. And now we're going to roll the front wheel in. This is really the only 2 things you got to do is put the wheel on and make sure you have the disc that will slide into the caliper. There's plenty of room. And again, this was adjusted perfectly. The brakes were adjusted perfectly from the factory. I didn't have to do a darn thing, and I love that. So you just drop the frame right on the front wheel like this. You can see the axle is in there. Drop it in there right in the right place. It takes it's a little easier with two people. And you slide it right in there. Make sure you don't bend the rotor, and it's going to drop right in the caliper there, and there it is. It is ready to be bolted on. And in the accessories box, you will find the two nuts here that will adjust it to the, attach it to the frame. That's all you need here. Pretty self-explanatory, easy peasy, and your front wheel will be secured on that bike. It's not going anywhere. Now, it's a good idea to check this every few rides, especially if you're going over rough terrain, and you put the lock side of the side with the grooves on the outside that'll hold that nut on. It kind of locks it into place like a lock washer, and both sides. Make sure these are tightened pretty well. They give you the recommended torque, so if you do have a torque wrench, you'll know exactly what you need to do, but I don't have one. I just tighten it. This is a nice wrench they give you, too. This is included in the set. So you tighten that up real well so you can't tighten it anymore, and your wheels aren't going to go anywhere. And again, a great idea to check this every couple of rides. Make sure it hasn't worked its way loose, especially if you're going over rough terrain. If you're just riding around the city, it's usually not a problem, but check it anyway, just in case. Front wheel spinning, great. That is amazing. So I'm going to just throw the front fender on, and I was very thankful that with the front fender, you do not have to put the light in there, because if you've ever done that, that is probably the most difficult part of assembling these bikes, is trying to maneuver that bolt through the front fender and a headlight attached to the same bolt. It's just awkward. I mean, it doesn't sound hard, but it's just really weird, and I've spent up more time than I should doing that. So this is one bolt here, and the only thing this bolt holds on is the front fender. So it's got the bolt and the nut. You take that out, and then you just slide this in. You'll see the two support brackets on the bottom. Just bend those down. We're going to attach those two in a second. And the one bolt goes right through here and in the back too. So it's nice. It's a neat assembly here. So the bolt's going to go through the front, and the nut that you just took off is going to attach that. Just make sure it's not touching the wheel, and you can adjust this as necessary. It usually goes on nice and straight, but it's just in case it doesn't, you can adjust this. And then these two brackets will hold it on to the bottom of your fork. And you have a perfect assembly of the front fender, which will keep dirt, rocks, water, all kinds of stuff from splashing up on you when you go off-roading, or if you're riding in the rain. And again, you can ride this bike in the rain. It is virtually waterproof. It's not waterproof, but it's almost there. It's water resistant. As a matter of fact, you can submerge the battery in water for like up to 30 minutes, like 3 feet of water for 30 minutes, which is ridiculously cool. And the bike itself, you could even power wash this if you needed to. Now we're going to put the front handlebars on. You've got four nuts you're going to take off, 4 bolts you're going to take out of here. And they do give you the perfect sized hex wrench for that. So you're going to take that off. And I've kept the styrofoam on here so it wouldn't scratch my frame. And it's nice that they give you just a ton of styrofoam in there. It's really cool. So you're going to twist this around to make sure that your front cables are not kinked and you have enough space to put it on there, because you're going to need to hook these cables into a couple of them. You're going to need to connect these things to make sure that it is unwound and not crimped up in different places. You put your 4 bolts back in here. And simple, easy peasy. It's really simple. What you're going to do is make sure this is lined up in the center here, and your handlebars are going to be exactly where they need to be. So don't tighten it up until that is like perfectly centered there. And you'll see the 4 guidelines you have there, and you'll know exactly where it needs to be. Of course, you can adjust this for your own personal height or gait or however you want to ride your bike, but this is the standard setup. And then you can adjust this handlebar as well. You can adjust the angle to get the perfect riding comfort for you. And it's great that you're sitting up. I've seen a lot of bikes where you have to kind of bend over, and that's not comfortable. I've ridden a couple of those too, and they were much more expensive than this. And I didn't like them. But this is such a comfortable ride once you adjust this, and you can swing that all the way up to where it's perfect for you, depending on your height and how you prefer to ride. I mean, if you want to be hunched over, you could totally do that, but who wants to do that? I guess if you're going in the wind, if you're racing, but you're not going to race on a mountain bike, right? You're just out there trying to have a good time, exploring nature, enjoying the sunshine, getting some vitamin D on your skin, and riding where no other bike could ride before. Here's the headlight. It's got its own little bolt on here. This is genius, right? Goes right on the front here. And you just screw that in with the bolt. The bolt is included. Just take that out, and there it is. And here is your display. It is a full color LCD display that you can see in bright sunlight. So a lot of people ask about that. And yes, you can see it. It lights up with a nice bright yellow, and all the display is in full color, big bright white letters for your speedometer, and no problem seeing it in direct sunlight, which we will show you in our test ride. Now, all this stuff, this is for your headlight. That needs to be put in. They need to be attached. And you can see they have 2 guide arrows on all these wires, which is super helpful. So you're not going to crimp any or bend any of the pins inside of them. It shows you just line up those 2 arrows right where they need to go. And as long as you line them up correctly, you're not going to have any problems. They're going to slide right in there, and they will be tight too. They're not going anywhere. And you put your green in too, and then your orange, and you are just about ready to go. Now, this is the battery. At this point, I'll take the battery off and start charging it, because your first ride, you want to run on 100% charge. There's a little bit of charge from the factory. This was about, I guess, 60 to 70% when it came from the factory, but I like to charge it up because I'm taking a nice long ride. You can see you've got 705.6 watt hours typically, so you can go with pedal assist on flat ground. If you're not riding into the wind or not riding through grass, you could probably go 60 miles. And I tell people you could literally ride across the entire state of New Jersey. Like, I used to live in Philadelphia. I could ride from Philadelphia, from the Benjamin Franklin Bridge all the way to the Jersey Shore on one full charge with a little extra pedaling. And that just blows my mind, the capacity of this battery. So think about that. That's a whole day of riding wherever you're going. Here's where you charge the battery. Again, there's an arrow here. Now, this isn't, if you charge the battery off the frame, you can charge it on the frame, and it's guided by the shape. But here, if you're charging it off, if you prefer to take your battery inside, you could totally do that. Just match up the arrows, and it will fit in there perfectly. Or if you do it on the frame, again, it's kind of it's like a form fitting on the frame. You can charge the battery on the frame, and you can see how it's got that little tab up front. Just line that up, put that in there. Can't go in any other way. Charges perfectly, and your charger will turn red when it's charging. And this is neat too. The newest update tells you the estimated charging time right on the display. Brilliant, right? Here's your reflectors and your little bell if you need that in your locality. I guess some registrations or some local communities and municipalities require you have a bell or a horn or something. And you just pop your pedals on, and it shows you clearly on the bike itself which way you need to go. And of course, the pedals are labeled left and right because the threads are different ways. And they do that so when you spin them, they don't fall off. It kind of goes the direction that you're going to go, the direction you're going to pedal. So that's great. Here's your controller to turn it on. The power button is located on the top. Takes a long press, and you will see it pop on. We'll show you that in a second. Look at this. You got 8 speeds back here. Holy moly. Or your Shimano shifter, that's great. So you can ride just about anywhere. And pedal. Pedaling is great exercise. I mean, just because it's electric, you don't have to let it do all the work for you. If you want to, you can, sure, but you don't have to do that. So I'm going to check the tires. These are the big 4-inch tires. Maximum PSI is about 30. I get to about 26. I never like to go all the way up to the top, but if you're just doing some street riding, that's great. You're going to get a little bit extra mileage out of your battery if you have really hard tires. But if you're doing dirt, you definitely want to soften them up. Look at this. A suspension seat post included. That is not extra. That is included with the Nomad 2 by Velotric. It's crazy. So let's turn it on and look at this gorgeous display. I mean, this is insane how beautiful this thing is. It's like watching a little TV. It's like a phone screen right there on your bike. And then dip in your menu, and you can find all these different settings you can have here. You can check your lights, the auto power, you can do your throttle, and this is amazing. Connect to the app and just scan the QR code. It'll give you the download, and you can name your bike. And this is where you can set all the settings you could do on the controller. Some people prefer to do it this way. It's a little easier, a little more self-explanatory. And here's the information. Set the riding mode, 3 different modes to choose from. Set the screen brightness. Set your maximum MPH. It says 28. Yeah, I went a little faster. And you can check it for pedal assist or for throttle only. And you can put the sticker on there again, depending on your municipality. They really thought of everything, a whole bunch of stickers here. So you can change all those settings in the app or on the controller itself so that you are compliant with local laws. And that is a great option too. And this is nice. You can swap torque mode or cadence mode. That's insane. Something called SensorSwap that Velotric invented. And this gives you some information. Cadence if you're just pedaling freely, but torque if you're doing some dirt riding or up hills and stuff. It's going to measure the force applied to the pedals and give you force as you need it, a little extra power as you need it. So I prefer cadence. I ride a lot of street stuff anymore. But when I do dirt, I'll switch it to torque. And FindMy, right? A lot of people having their bike stolen. This is a great way to get it back in case, God forbid, somebody does swipe your bike. And you can set the emoji, whatever you want to do. It'll tell you exactly where it is, so you can get the authorities on it, share that information, and get it back. It also has your serial number. They really have given you everything with the Velotric Nomad 2. Let's take a test ride.
We'll be right back.